Well, one of my greatest fears in my life, and with my art is I'm afraid of being mediocre. It's fear of mediocrity and creating things that are white bread, run-of-the-mill, middle of the road, And it's funny because how do you judge that? There's plenty of art intellectuals that would be willing to tear my stuff apart, saying that it's it's not controversial or it's not edgy or something like that, And I can't speak to that anymore because who loves art and what they love about art is very subjective. And so really the only thing I can do, rather than trying to figure out what people want to see, is just make what I make that comes from my guts. Yeah. And then it's up to each individual to decide if that's good or bad. But the definition of whether I'm mediocre or not has to come from me. And so hopefully that'll drive me to continue to produce things that are meaningful and not mediocre.
Well, don't you get to a point where you're only focusing in on the crumbs that's in that vision that's coming for you, and you don't really, when you start a project, you're not thinking about mediocre. You're just trying to think about
exactly
what's the greatest expression I could possibly do in this moment,
right
now. That's why I like pointillism, because it's like, what's the perfect point? Without thinking about it. Let me put this point.
I'm telling you, every point is that way for me as I'm doing it. It's like, what's the perfect point? And there's so many dots I find myself I said, no one is ever going to zero in on this, let alone appreciate why I'm putting this color dot right here.
That's right.
But it's very important, and it's a very crafted decision. But hopefully it creates the vision I'm trying to accomplish. And what I've discovered as well, for me, and not only for me, but for the public, the people who buy my work, I don't think people buy it or are attracted to it as much as for the technique as it is for the image.
That's right.
And I found that not to be a great selling point. Well, you don't like this? Well, how about it's pointillism? You should buy it. That never works. People won't buy a piece for the technique. They'll buy it for the image and how it makes them feel.